Okay, everyone out there. We got here is a Clinton wristwatch with a radium outer rim glow dial, and this thing is already. My dad had this from the early '60s, and he gave it to me. It still works. If I wind it up, it actually still keeps time. As you can see, it's turning right there. I just gave it 1 or 2 winds, and it's still running. But the thing that surprised me is I was looking through the house for objects that might be radioactive. And, of course, I got my counters here and stuff. But I was surprised at the level of radioactivity. So we're going to do a quick counter here just to see. Let me give some light here. See exactly what level we're dealing with. The first thing I did to assure that this was gamma was I took this aluminum old cracker cover, box cover, and I got my Rad Alert 50 here, which is not a bad little meter to start out with for detecting alpha, beta, and gamma. There's your alpha and beta window, and of course your Geiger-Müller tube is not the biggest, but it does run down into the unit to about close to serial number. So we're going to do a quick test with this first, and then we'll use the Geiger counter and see how it looks. Alright, going to audio, setting it to total, and I'm just setting it on top of the actual, trying to anyway here if I can, and start my counter. This proves it's not alpha or beta radiation coming out of it because the aluminum cracker box lid would stop the beta or the alpha, and plus there's a glass plate on there which would stop the alpha by itself. So let's try to get it on here for the maximum read right here and see what we're going to get here in it's by no doubt the most radioactive thing I found in the house. It's about the same as the depleted uranium check source on the side of my CDV 700 there, which after a little research, I mean, it's ticketing sitting that far away from it. Okay, we're coming up on a minute here. Well, at least as far as the counter goes. We'll let it go to 2 minutes and see what we get on our reading here. Just trying out my new Samsung phone just to see how good the camera is. At 15. Should have hooked up the external speaker, but that's okay. You can hear the clicks just fine on this Rad Alert. This International Medcom is a great company because they're here in the United States. It's all made in the U.S. by Americans here in the U.S. So, you know, I support buying products from them. A little on the expensive side. Like, I want to get the inspector next, but I'm going to have to save some pennies for that because that's about 500 bills. Let's see, going on 149, 50, 56, 57, 58, 59, and 2 minutes. So we're sitting at 650. Divided by 2, which means you're looking at about 325 counts per minute. And I understand that this wasn't calibrated for radium, but and I'm pretty positive it's the dial doing that. So let's go ahead and now with the gamma window closed. Now I could go ahead and open this because I know there's no. I'm sorry, the beta window closed. I can go ahead and open it and use the opening so that more beta gamma can get through because, well, this shouldn't stop it, but watch. See, I'm not getting too much tickety out of this thing. Although I should be getting a little bit more. The brass has a bit of a shielding effect. That's why they chose it. But we know there's no beta or alpha because we've used our little shield test there. We open up the window. And as you can see, our count rate is going up to between 250 and 300, which is pretty close to what we got on the inspector over there. If I put it close to the check source, you'll see it's pretty close to the level of gamma coming off of the depleted uranium on the check source for my meter. Very close, as a matter of fact. Now, the thing about this watch that I've noticed is that very little coming from the back. So the saving grace is, at least while you're wearing the watch, a majority of the radiation is going away from you. The gamma is going outwards, not towards you. I can't even pick it up from the back side too. I can get a little bit from the closed area, but not as much. I have to go down to the X1 level. And I'm picking up about 0.1 millirem per hour. Some parts of this dial appear to be a little more juicified. Yeah, that'll saturate it, so you don't want to do that, but yeah. My rad alert hasn't even scanned down yet. The only thing about the rad alert is if you're not in total mode, you're in total mode, so that's why. Anyway, yeah, it gives you a total count up front for, if you're in regular mode, it gives you a total count up front for about a minute. And get into the line right to where the geiger tube is, right over. Just you basically use the sight glass to line up and just go back about an inch or so, and you're pretty close to where you're going to get the tube exposed. It'll make a count for exactly a minute and then stop, roughly, once you put it on counts per minute or a milliröntgen per hour. See, okay, we've gone up to a minute. We've already got 262 counts per minute, so that'll just continue to go up, and it won't change. But it will do an update after about 10 or 15, 20 seconds and go back to normal once it reaches its point, or once it completes its calculation. I'm going to put this back up inside the little holder here because well, I've been taking care of it since my dad gave it to me. Close the beta window here. But yeah, I've like I said, I've had this for about a year. I picked it up from a military surplus site, but it was properly calibrated, because the test site should read between the two. You should be in between the 0.2 millirem per hour and 0.3 millirem per hour on the X10 setting. And so this depleted uranium source is good for thousands of years, so that's a good thing about that. If they use another check source, you would have had problems. See, finally it's scaled back down to background. So yeah, this isn't a bad choice. And of course, as it gets closer, you'll start to detect the gamma coming off of there. Yeah. But there's also a little bit of a beta source coming out of it. No? Was there? No, I tested it. I put the beta shield up and there's not much beta coming out of there either, so. Still, like I said, you can get them on eBay now for about $70. So it's not a bad first portable monitor system to have. I want to stay under 10 minutes, so until the next video, HK Fanatic, out.